This episode of Coffeenated is brought to you by Eon Travel and Tours. Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffeenated, Daily Guardians podcast in partnership with Ubra Shared Space and Cafe Lounge. I am your host, Elcid Fernandez. So today on the podcast, we're going to be mixing it up a bit. We normally talk to established leaders of industry, but for this episode, we're going to flip the script in that we're going to talk to Coleen, or as she'd like to refer to herself, Sugar. Instead of looking into the mindsets and habits of established individuals who get to a certain level at the corporate setting, we're going to talk to the people who are about to enter the corporate world. So I'd like to welcome our guest, Colleen Araña.
Hello, Elcid.
Hi, well, thank you for coming on Coffeenated.
Thank you so much, then, for inviting me.
So Sugar here is the VC external for the UP College of Management Student Council, and she's the chairperson of the 5th Business Leaders Summit. It's going to be held on February 26 to 27 of 2020. She's also the former CEO of Junior Executive Society and was Mark Prof 16's batch president. BLS, or Business Leaders Summit, is an annual 2-day conference to immerse business students in the corporate world through plenary sessions and case competitions. But before we even go to Business Leaders Summit, I want to know about you, really. You were former CEO of Jess and Mark Prof 16 batch president. I am also a graduate of UP, and the team here, Jonas and Tintin, are also graduates of UP. But we never did. We join Mark Prof? Did you join Mark Prof? I didn't join Mark Prof. So, can you tell us the experience from Mark Prof?
Actually, the experience was really great because I get to meet a lot of people from Manila, and then we have different culture, and then we have different, of course, perspectives in life. But actually, the journey was really hard for me, and I really undergone the process because initially I applied last 2017, and then I thought of like, okay, I had a lot of organizations. Not really one, but I joined BLS 5. I thought it was enough. And then unfortunately, I didn't get into the top 100. And then I said, what are these people who got in are doing that I'm not doing? So I really assessed what part did I lack. So from then on, I realized that they were very extra when it comes to business case competitions. So I started joining AdCon twice. Won the first one, Business Leader Summit as well. I joined as a delegate competing team, and then I started, improving my resume. And then I finally got into top 100. Mark Prof's top 100.
You applied in 2017, but you were
Yeah.
Mark Prof. Mark Prof 16 is not the year; it's the batch.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
okay,
batch.
okay.
Yeah. And then I didn't get in.
So, as a management student, you joined AdCon.
Yeah,
and you had case
AdCon.
competitions for
Yeah.
BLS, and you were part of Mark Prof.
Yes po.
These are marketing inclined extracurricular activities.
Yeah, but I thought of like I really have the passion in trying to make strategies or like marketing campaigns. I really thought that it's quite a gift that I need to like foster and improve through those competitions, because I really believe na once you have the gift, you don't just settle for having that gift. You need to work on it because it's really skill based. You need to practice on it and really step up and put yourself there.
So this means that you have a very beefy resume coming out of college now, right?
Yes.
Where are you from
Fortunately,
originally?
I'm from Pototan.
You're from Pototan, so you'll be graduating at
This
the end of the
year,
school
yeah.
year. What do you intend to do?
I really wanted to like specialize in something because I really I think like I wanted to pursue the career in marketing because it's where my resume is inclined, and I think I really can do best as a
You like
employee.
messaging, you like crafting
Yeah.
campaigns, you like no.
Sales.
And sales, really.
Yeah.
Because as VP external, that's really my job, right? It's really about marketing per se, and that's how you really position a company, right? So that's what you like doing.
Yeah, especially inciting. Because when you
Okay.
target a market and then you
Yeah,
do
and
inciting, it's really, getting into people's mind and then knowing their behavior and then aligning your strategy with that. Because if ever they don't align, of course, there will be a
do
mismatch.
you intend to stay here in Iloilo or explore other avenues?
It still depends because as a business leader, you should weigh pros and cons at the same time. And planning to focus on growth right now, not really on the salary. So it really depends upon the opportunities. But so far, that's my goal.
Okay, so that's a very admirable uh,
Thank you.
mindset that I think that most people need to have. Like most people, we're privileged per se, right? Because we can focus on just really improving ourselves rather than trying to provide for our families or finding growth. But now let's talk about the business leader summit. I'd like to pivot to that because this is why you're here today. So can you tell us a little bit about this annual immersion of sorts?
Actually, Business Leader Summit on this fifth year. In the past years, BLS 3 and 4 are more focused on innovation and startups. And then I suddenly, as a marketing person, then I kind of analyzed and think that our market right now or our participants are coming from senior high school and second year college. That's the eldest. So it's first year, second year from business courses, and then senior high school coming from ABM, gas, and STEM strand. So we're open to those categories. So I thought na it's much better that we have talks that would give them a bigger picture of what's in the corporate world. Because it's not really too early. You can't say na it's too early for them to plan out their career. I think it's important that they start knowing what happens in there and then they get to assess and align everything that they do or their efforts right now, third year, fourth year, joining competitions that they think they could specialize on. And yeah, so the topics are more on what are the strategies of an HR manager in terms of collaboration, marketing, the power of purposeful marketing, which is very trendy right now. So those are some of the topics that we are gonna tackle, and that will help them equip themselves in assessing what's in there, what's out there for them.
Okay, a few things that I'd like to talk about in your discussion there. Did you ever go to K to 12?
No.
I didn't go to K to 12,
Yeah.
so I don't understand STEM or
Ah, okay. Yeah,
those
strands.
strands that you talked
Mm.
about. But so like, what are these strands?
Actually, STEM is more on science, technology,
Mm,
engineering,
mm.
mathematics. Gas, it's more vague now because it's general thing at amongst the strands.
Okay,
And ABM is more focused on
business
business
management.
management. But I was in this, I thought of like these students are not really sure or not really, very they do not really know what they're gonna pursue, what are they gonna pursue in college. So I thought of like opening this opportunity for them in case now they're open for like business courses in the
So,
future.
so it's to give them a teaser of sorts
Yeah,
of what they could
teaser.
be doing
Yeah,
as business inclined individuals.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, so for BLS, you discussed like topics on HR training and stuff. And these topics, how are they chosen? These categories, how do you decide which parts of the business world to show uh, these young individuals?
Actually, our team really focused on this part for like a month, planning on the theme.
Because it's the most important part.
Yeah, theme and then the topics that
Mm.
we are going to discuss. And then we spot that pain point wherein students right now need to go back to the core of the organizations, which is most likely the different operations they're in. So those are and HR. But right now we plan to having intrapersonal skills as well. So that's
Okay.
HR for collaboration. This is in the perspective of the manager. So those working in the corporate world. And then marketing and finance, we're in there. We are going to talk about how do you interpret financial statements in a sense that it could tell a story of what happened in a company and what it looks forward to. So it's more of like not really technical, but really on
Just understanding.
analyzing, yeah, and understanding, because they get to learn it. We need to offer something in VLS that they will not be able to learn in the four walls of their classroom.
Okay. And did you have an internship before?
Yeah, I
Where did you
have.
intern?
Sa RCBC.
Okay, and
Sa back.
these things that you learn, for example, in this workshop that you have, it's open to college students and
Senior high school.
senior high school students. And you joined for how many years? You were a delegate in BLS,
yeah,
right?
delegate for 2 years.
You were a
That's
delegate for 2
2017
years.
and 2018.
And it began in 2015, right?
Yeah, 2015.
2015 was the year I graduated, so you waited for me to leave, and
And
then
then, yeah, actually the founder, I mean, the one who pioneered the event was is Kaizel Dagdag.
okay.
Kaizel Dagdag.
Kaizel, yeah, okay, I remember
PCs.
Kaizel. So, for the speakers, how do you choose them?
The speakers were like from we're planning to localize the speakers because as usual we have problems in terms of financial, and financials and sponsorships at the same time. So we were planning to like
Daily
get the
Guardian,
most
by
of
the
like
way, is
localized. Yeah.
happy to sponsor you.
Thank you so much. And we are so happy that you gave us the opportunity na, yeah, you're our media partner in terms of our
Okay,
promotions.
so how goes the preparations at this point?
At this point, we are focusing our efforts on promoting the event, going to schools, talking to the deans, and then encouraging really students to participate. Actually, we are looking forward that schools will give us the opportunity to talk with the students. It's what we call school caravan. But then, of course, everyone is busy with Dinagyang, and probably we are gonna start in the first week of February. So yeah, that's where we focus our efforts, participants and sponsorships.
So your theme for BLS is what was it again?
Beyond leveraged solutions.
Okay, so why beyond leveraged solutions?
It's actually it's quite rooted with the fact that I wanted the future business leaders to be not profit oriented. Of course, profit will always be there, but it's more on like making significant impact in the lives of the people, especially in the marginalized sector. Like these products do not want your money merely, but we are giving what you deserve in terms of services and in terms of easing your lives in a sense that you will be able to survive, because in the marginalized sector they just live day by day at the bare minimum, and businesses are there to help them survive.
So this is about product optimization or service optimization, really.
Yeah, and giving back to the community.
Okay, because in the previous 2 episodes of this podcast, we discussed with Jules, who has Hatch Hub, and Ryan, who has Virtualahan. Both of these businesses, they don't call these, or they don't refer to themselves as really profit-oriented businesses. In fact, they said that they are social enterprises. Is it fair to say that this is the same culture that you're inculcating now?
Yes, it's the same culture that we are inculcating now because as we've seen, there are trends in terms of corporate social responsibilities, social partnerships, some call it social partnerships, and there are a lot of efforts in terms of like boosting our SMEs and environmental causes as well. So I would like to, yeah, really inculcate this to our participants that businesses could be a channel for them to help other people.
Because that's interesting, right? Because for me, I went to Ateneo for elementary and high school, and I went to UP for college, and then for a little bit in law school. Because I only encountered this idea of social enterprise when I took the LAE, the law aptitude exam. And then there was this issue that, businesses are the ones that are causing so much damage Therefore, businesses should be the ones to fix the damage that they're causing and not pass it on to the consumer. So, for example, when you do climate change, when you tackle climate change, people tell us, turn off your TVs, don't let the standby light be on. That's what they taught me when I was younger. Don't leave your fans on, put your aircon like only half the night. But then this idea that, since businesses are the ones that are really causing the issue, consumers should not have the responsibility of cleaning up their mess. And in the past three interviews, which are not scripted, by the way, there's this discussion on social enterprise all three times when we're trying to discuss like the changing nature of corporations or businesses. And this idea all comes from very young business minded people. So is that a disconnect between the older generation and how they want to tackle climate change or environmental issues, and then the younger people who think that businesses are profit oriented, but at the same time they can be a force for good, right? Because like Uber, for example, they have plants in the office, things like that, just to just to have that idea that it's to be productive, to be as low carbon emission as possible. So what is it about the younger generation now, you think, that makes it so that it gives us a greater need to give back to communities?
I think millennials right now are more exposed and they see the sense of urgency when it comes to acting right now for climate change. Actually, I can really relate to this because right now in Unilever, which is a very big company, we have the cases wherein we need to strategize on bringing plastic back into the loop. Into the loop. And with that sense, it implies that these companies take charge of the damage that they are doing. But as millennials, being participants to that, we get to have this analysis. What are the current behaviors of millennials in terms of like climate change, or what are their current efforts towards helping the Mother Earth? So right now, maybe it could be a disconnect, but I could see the efforts of both ends
To bridge the gap.
slowly, yeah, bridging the gap. Because right now, actually, the efforts are more on the company's efforts are more on giving the consumers the not the liability, but the responsibility of slowly loving the earth through their efforts, like incentivizing them and incentivizing them.
But going back to being prepared for the corporate world, you said that you're joining another competition with Unilever case. So how do you recommend, like, why do you join so many of these competitions?
Hmm, actually, because I think I can with my time, because I have two subjects na lang right now. So I
Okay.
have a lot of time to join competitions. And I think it's more on like the intention to really improve myself. Sorry if maybe if this sounds too selfish, but I really wanted to help myself first in order for me to help other people kasi in the future. This is what they've said. It's much easier to like to pull people up rather than push them up. So I need to help myself first and get there, and then transcend that help to
Okay.
them.
I like that mindset because that's really what we're doing with the podcast, right? We're trying to show people tips and tricks on how they're going to conduct themselves in the corporate sphere or generate ideas or generate their own value. Now, most people think that, ACADS over everything else. But I always thought that no, it's not really ACADS over everything else, because although academic wise, it teaches you, let's say, the amount of effort that you can give to something, there are disconnects between grades and your actual performance after grades. And the only way you can test them in real world situations would be to join competitions like this. Like I, for example, joined PANA before, but you have joined so much more than I have. So, what has your experience been in the things that you have learned through these competitions? And then, can you talk about how then these experiences or these skills that you've gained can be translated or can be earned as well through BLS?
Actually, BLS is like my starting point, is what I've said earlier. And then it started from there, and then I joined competitions at the same time. Siguro, it's more on like having the grit to like plan long term. Because I think that's one skill that every millennial should have. That's why I told you earlier that it's not too early for them to plan what their career is going to be. Because once you have the grit, or once you have a long-term plan, you will be able to know what opportunities deserve a yes, what opportunities deserve a no. And from there, you would be able to maximize the opportunities that you think you could be at your best. So, although I've joined many competitions, I do not feel, yeah, I could feel tired, but I do not feel tired to the extent that I could give up, because my intentions and my passions are still there, fueling that drive to like finish whatever I am starting. So yeah, it really kept me going. That long-term goal that I have, and then the drive and the passion.
Okay, so we'll try to talk about the individual skills that one can earn and can gain through BLS, and why it's important to join competitions like this, even more so as a younger student who has yet to join business school, for example, like senior high school after the break. 2020 has just started. If you're like most young professionals like me, this new year presents new goals. One of my personal goals this year is to travel more, but being a working law student makes it difficult for me to plan out my itinerary or even try to process the documents I would need to go to where I want to go. This is why I trust Eon with all my travel needs. Not only do they make things easier for me, like processing of documents like visas, they have text alerts that go straight to my phone, and they even help me plan out my itinerary by recommending tourist spots and activities in my country of destination. This means then that all I have to do now is think about the caption for my Instagram photos. They even tell me the price of the entire trip back and forth, so I'm never short for my trip. They're even having their Taiwan Sana All promo right now with a 3 days, 2 nights trip to Taiwan for 18,800 pesos all in, with travel dates on March 28 to 31. Personally, my first travel choice for this year is South Korea. I love that country. And yes, Eon is the one that's handling all my traveling needs and making life easy for me. So the next time you think about accomplishing your travel goals, think Eon, as Eon Travel and Tours is your trusted travel concierge. So, Sugar, throughout the competitions you've joined and in BLS, what are the skills that you hope to impart to the participants? Like, why would they want to join, right?
Siguro I'll start with the fact that right now the business industry is really dynamic, and it's not enough for you to just know theories and concepts that you could learn in the classroom. I see the urgency of needing to acquire skills like lifelong skills, like decision making skills, problem solving, critical thinking. Those are really, very important skills that these business leaders should have, because from day to day, they're not gonna, like, let's say, for example, apply 4 Ps and 6 Ps. What they do every day is solve problems, create new ideas, challenge ideas. So take for example, the skills will help them prosper in terms of their career, not only in their career, but stemming from their personal growth as well. That would eventually transcend to like their future careers.
Okay, so like for decision making, this is really, I feel, is a very underrated skill, right? Because several enterprises, and even in my personal experience, there are people who are very skilled, very talented in very technical mechanical work, right? And even with just having some things that you can't teach, but they can't fully maximize the things that they're doing because of their lack of decision making. And but then in these situations, how do you teach that?
Take for example, managing risks, because
Okay.
because when you decide, or when you have to make decisions, usually you weigh whether what are the effects of this decision, what are the effects of plan A, what are the effects of plan B. That's what you usually do when you answer business cases, especially if they release cases in marketing, for example, wherein you need to decide whether to not pursue this plan A or whether you need to pursue this plan B, and then you assess the context, you assess the essentials, really the elements of how you're going to, like, let's say promotions, how you're going to promote this stuff. So considering also different factors like budget, your the current behavior, the current trends. So that's what makes you make good decisions, for you to be able to see the bigger picture, assess it in a sense that you could be rational in making your decisions.
So can you talk about this case study competition for BLS, for example? So what does it try to simulate?
Actually, we have our partner sponsor, which is Mega World, and they will be giving our preliminary case and our final case. As of now, I could not say really what the case is, but it's coming from them, and our participants will be solving real life challenges of Mega World.
Is BLS more marketing focused? Is it just a problem in the workplace? Like, I mean, if even without going into the details of the case study competition itself, what do they try to solve there?
So here I can talk with the past
Oh yes, yeah.
competitions that I had,
Bet.
because in BLS 3, when I was a delegate, we have GCash as our as their partner. So we have case competition from GCash, and at that time GCash is not yet, very popular. So they have this case of are you going to like pursue the current marketing slogan, which is like pwede pala, pwede, something like that. And then we tried to like make a new one and then present it to them. And then during our final case, which is very, very funny, because the challenge was, how are you gonna market GCash in the rural areas? It was funny in a sense na I didn't even thought of that question na parang rural. When is a place rural? So I was stating na kapag rural barangay, parang there are a lot of like realizations na parang, okay, so I think I should research and really, matter load talaga in terms of like before getting into competition. Na it's not enough to know how you market stuff. It's also about reading other stuff then, especially news, And then BLS 4, it's different now. It's not marketing. It's making a business model canvas for Iloilo. And then funny thing also, because our team kind of misinterpreted it, and then we talked about Iloilo as a whole, and then others got a real business na parang they get to make a business model canvas out of it.
That's interesting for me again because, for example, Iloilo is trying to rebrand itself. Right now, it's Level Up Iloilo, and recently there has been news that they are tapping marketing firms in order to rebrand the city itself. There is discussion, or in the news that showed up in Daily Guardian, the city hall planned on tapping New York-based firms in order to handle this rebranding of Iloilo. So what do you think about this idea that a New York-based firm is going to brand Iloilo City?
I think it's, technically speaking, they are, I'm sure, renowned marketers. But for me, it could also, we could also help if ever they would ask us to. Actually, we are planning to like go to the city hall to give our sponsorship, and a proposal at the same time. And siguro what's lacking here is them talking to us, a conversation siguro, because although this is Level Up Iloilo is a big project, I'm confident to say that as native Ilonggos, we could contribute to this because we can relate.
All right. So my personal opinion on this is that if you're going to ask a New York-based marketing professional, even if they have the technical terms per se, why not just tap an Iloilo or even a Filipino-based marketing firm, which one already is very familiar with the culture. Two, market research is easier for them to do because they're here and all of their resources are here. Three, it's easier for activations because of the connections that they already have, so lesser expense. Four, it just sounds weird to me. Like, would you buy, for example, like you go to places to buy specific things, right? Like you would go to, let's say, Iloilo. You'd come here for Lapas Bachoy, right? You don't go to Manila to make Lapas Bachoy, then brand it as Lapas Bachoy. So this the technicalities of marketing. I wouldn't say that they're better than us, and I think that personally, it's much better if we branded Iloilo using or from resources that were from Iloilo, like firms from Iloilo, especially since that we were thriving now, right? Like Iloilo as a business hub. But you're going back to the discussion of your experience of using these skills. Uh, why is it important that they have to be senior high school students, that they need to have these skills and they need to be exposed to the corporate world at this stage of their life?
These skills are not, acquired one like
Through this just
yeah.
2 day seminar,
I
right?
mean, yeah, through this like 2 day seminar, and it cannot be acquired like you say after a week or like after 2 days. BLS will serve as a starting point for them to realize that they need to have these skills and how to really have that skills. One of our topic is intrapersonal skills, where the speaker will discuss on the soft skills they need in order for them to not be just confident in a sense that they know something, and competent in a sense that they actually do it. So yeah, during the summit, they will be taught on how these skills are acquired.
Okay. Now, Iloilo, I feel that you grow up here?
Yes. Yes.
And I actually left for a little while. So for in the 3 years that I was gone, when I came back, Iloilo has drastically changed for me. And you were here to witness all of that change. What do you feel? How do you feel about Iloilo being a business hub or an economic hub now with so many businesses sprouting?
I'm very proud that our city has achieved a lot all throughout these years, and I think it's also because of the strategies that the government are employing, like for example tax holidays maybe, or whatever strategies they implement in order to attract investments. And this is also one thing that quite align to BLS goal, which is to make Western Visayas the next big thing. And in order for it to be, true, we need to give opportunities to our future business leaders, that they don't, we mold them here and then they go to Manila, and then the number of opportunities are more than here. And if I were to be asked if ever na I would stay here, I would definitely stay here as long as the opportunities allow me to. Compared, of course, as a business leader, wherein you are more concerned about your growth and career, it would be really, really great if Iloilo could provide that to our future business leaders, which could, eventually boost our local businesses.
And actually, my batchmates from UP who graduated marketing management, they also went to Manila, right, for work or to find better opportunities there. But in the past 2 years, I mean, I'm also back here. I found the trend that they have been coming back here to work for businesses here. Like one example is Angela Castor, who was in Manila, is now working for Future Smart, an Iloilo-based tech company. And I find that very interesting now. Like there are so many opportunities that are coming up here, so many startup businesses, even in Innovate Iloilo organized by Global Shapers. So many people there are now pitching themselves to LGUs, for example. So there is a greater rise of understanding of the importance and value of marketing. It's not an expense, it's an investment. And for BLS now, I this is when you first approached Daily Guardian, for example, this is the first that I've ever heard of BLS. So it makes me very interested to know, like, this culture of startups and businesses really started to pick up now here in Iloilo. And it's translating, right? It's translating. I don't know if it's because the younger people are causing change. I don't know if it's because the government has done so many things that made people like you start to think more about business. Like, for example, Van, who is part of your facilitating committee for BLS, he went into business school because of BLS, right? So he was inspired through it. Is how does this process how does this process occur through attending the seminar, for example?
Siguro it's because of the opportunity wherein they get to hear from the experiences of the speakers. Because me myself doesn't, really believe na you have that absolute plans in your life. Na parang it really changes as time goes on and as you gain more experiences. And BLS, I'm really happy that to that extent, it affects their decisions. That's why I opened it to STEM, gas, and other strands as well. And giving them the idea that business students are not there to work for big employers, but also having that option to really be the boss, something like that.
And going back to Megaworld,
Yeah.
Megaworld really gets a lot through this, right? I mean, to be perfectly honest,
Yeah.
because it's like a think tank. It's like a free think tank.
Yeah.
It's like, although you're students, it's like you just gather so many business-minded people, put them in one room, have them solve a problem for you. Then you have so many options as to what you may do or what you can do for this problem. So why it's it's like so much value for Megaworld, and then a teaching experience for the students. So, well, how would you then pitch this to schools?
For me, it's a win-win situation wherein they get to get ideas from us and then we get to learn from them as well, because they will be giving us a privilege of like a township tour, which is one of the
Okay.
one thing that's new in PLS 5, which is not given or included in the last BLS na mga 3 and 4. So township tour, they will be given the chance to be exposed to the different industries like BPO, hotel, retail, go into their offices, explore what's the setting there,
And these
and then
are
company talks.
these are companies that hire the most people.
Yeah, and then they hire most likely the most people, and they wanted to market their internships as well. So that's an opportunity for our participants too. So I see it as a balance of like perks in this partnership.
So give us your overall experience or your insight from a participant to now the head facilitator.
Actually, I have this goal supposedly because diba I told you earlier na parang 4th place lang kami noong BLS 3. And then BLS 4, I told myself na I needed to win this. But unfortunately, first runner-up. But then, no, I could not say na it's unfortunately na parang we did not win. Actually, it served as like parang I told myself na it's okay, you have undergone the process. That's what millennials, I think, should learn to. Na ang mga mistakes mistakes and failures that they have, as long as you undergone the process, it could be applied to another path. Na you did not lose at all. Doesn't mean that you did not get the place, you lost. Na parang ganon. You can still apply it to different paths. So right now, my goal supposedly was to win it for my team. My team already graduated eh. But then I told them na, guys, I think it's time for me to give back to the event in a sense na the head has experience to be a participant. Na parang I know the lapses for like 3 and 4. Not really lapses siguro, but more on what went wrong, what could we
What
have
could be
done,
improved.
yeah, what could be improved. So this BLS 5 is really prepared. I'm confidently saying this, and it's gonna be the best corporate training in the region, having me as the chairperson.
So I hope that BLS will be extremely successful, and thank you for coming on this podcast. And I invite all of the schools to join BLS because if I had this training, if I had the opportunity to join this, I would have loved to join something like this. But then she would be best suited to actually pitch to you now. So what do you have to say to every single person who may be watching this and invite them to BLS?
Hello, guys. So, I am inviting you to attend Business Leader Summit 5.0 because everyone needs a starting point. In order for you to launch whatever career or goal you plan. And I'd like to ask you a question whether what aside from BLS, what corporate training do you think would give you the same skills, would give you knowledge and exposure, right? So BLS 5.0 is a great starting point for you to start your 2020 productive, start your career, start on working on your goal, and step up. Be brave to step up. And then other else will follow.
Okay, wow. Everybody needs a starting point. Everybody needs a starting point. That's a good message to end on, I think. So thank you for coming here
Thank
to
you.
Coffeenated. And I hope, I wish you success in everything that you do.
Thank you so much.
This has been Coffeenated, Daily Gardens podcast in partnership with Ubra Shared Space and Cafe Lounge. This episode was shot in their boardroom. This episode is produced by Prometheus Enterprises. Special thanks to Creative Clutter.